Shalom. Praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, El Shai, Ba'ashem, Arakah, Kudash. Double honors unto the elder apostles of Great Millstone and rule well. And shalom to the hopeful elect. This is Pai Allah. Title of this video is Pray Always Again. Alright. And this is a point that can't be stressed enough. We're in our captivity in our state in this day. Alright. When you go by the prophetic words written by the prophet Daniel in the book of Daniel, it speaks about the time that we're in, all right, as far as concerning the statue, all right, we're at the feet that were part uh, of iron mingled or iron mingled with clay or clay mingled with iron. I forget how it said it was written verbatim, but that's the time that we're in, all right. We're in the second, the extension of the second rule of Rome, right? The reincarnation of the Roman Empire, all right? Babylon the Great, all right? And this is a highly demonic place. Us being returned unto the Heavenly Father, we're to seek the Lord 10 times more, knowing that we went astray due to, our hearts being made out of stone, all right? Having the lust of the flesh, lust of the eye, um, a desire for the world, all right? And in that being the case, we've basically we ended up in this mess that we're in right now. All right. But it was of the most high's will. And that's where we find some comfort in that, this is as Paul, a man that was super diligent, wrote, he said, that which I ought to do, I do not, and that which I uh ought not to that which I ought to do, I do not, and that which I want not to do, I do. Loosely paraphrasing. All right, so we're basically in the thick of it, and our only power, all right, is the word, all right, and even more so is by making supplication unto the Heavenly Father, asking for spiritual gifts. Right? As Bruce Lee said, a brother in disguise. He said, "Pray not for an easy life, but pray for the strength to endure a hard one." All right, life ain't about making it easy. All right, we have examples of that. We've seen it with E. All right, these numerous different trust fund babies who wind up jumping off buildings or dying in gutters like a dog in the street because they have no self control. They had no discipline. Everyone was yes manning them, all right, to death, and the world just opened up and there was no resistance. So when now they come across some form of hardship mentally, all right, things that are tangibly can be bought, some mental resistance, they wind up in a compromising position. But this is us being, as it tells you in Exodus 19:11, a nation of kings and priests. All right, there's a way that we have to walk. All right, a straight path in accordance with this word. All right, in order for you to be a judge, a priest, a king, you need to strictly follow the words, be disciplined. All right, because you are a shepherd within you. The Lord Yahweh Shai is only our shepherd, but you are, it's as the Lord said, the servant isn't greater than the master, but the servant ought to be as his master. All right. So we're not greater than Yahweh Shai, but we ought to be like him. We have to take the cues that he put in place in that, we're shepherds too. So guiding the sheep, the flock of the pasture, you have to understand that. I don't know if I'm on the same point. I'm kind of getting lost in the mix of what I'm saying, but more or less, you just have to be aware of how things can go. So there's a lesson in it all. All right, you need to stay on the straight and narrow. All right. So I've got a couple precepts. These are precepts I've gone through before. This is why the title was called again, because basically this is something that it can never be said enough. All right, prayer is our power. All right, I liken it onto Green Lantern with his ring and his lantern that charges up the ring, so he's able to do anything. Our connection with the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashem Yahshai Bashem Rakak Kodash, is going to charge us up and keep our spirit fervent, fiery within us. So it's the book of First Thessalonians 5 and 17. And it's very simple. It says, pray without ceasing. All right. And this is what we're um, told to do. All right. And this epistle that Paul wrote to the Israelites in Thessalonica. All right. To pray without ceasing. You can't pray enough. Anything you do, any spare moment you have to pray. All right. And I say this as someone that I don't pray as much as I used to, or even as much as I need to. All right. And I know that there's a demon out there right now that is, quietening the the voices of the prophets and hoping to sabotage our speech unto the Heavenly Father. And this is why you need to remain uh, keep vigilant, keep on grass. We chuck grenades at Scotland Yard, as the 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 chap named Dylan Dizzy Rascal Mills once said, which I'm joking. I'm not. That just come to mind. But you have to stay vigilant, all right, and you have to stay on point. As far as what you do within this word, all right, and really in the fight for your own soul, your spirit, because the desire of Satan is to take you out of the way. You are a problem, all right. The things, the oracles that we know, these things that we're hip to, we're privy to, we are a problem, all right. There's a light shining on us, all right, and they got heat-seeking missiles chasing after us. When we go into the scriptures, it tells you, all right, the Lord spoke about how when, or even Peter, well, the Lord spoke about how far, as far as when you come into this truth, that demon that you have is cast off of you, all right? And this is why Peter wrote about in his epistles where it said that, the people you once run with, they're shocked and surprised that you don't run to the riots that they used to run to the thing that you used to do, all right? So they look at you like, raw, like this guy is different. He's not on that no more. But guess what? When you look on the flip side, we go into the fourth dimension. That demon has now gone out to find demons that are stronger than itself, seven demons, right? The perfect amount to come back and challenge, and try and enter back into your spirit, all right? Enter into you and put demons upon you once again, all right? And we know that Satan, all right, the adversary, Shaitan, all right, he knows you. He has a profile of you. He knows everything about you, just like he knew Job. Job serves as a great example as far as every one of us in this faith. Your what affliction, all right? Through great affliction, shall you enter into the kingdom of the Most High. All right, you basically gonna go through it in order for you to enter into that kingdom, and Satan's gonna be one to afflict you. All right, the furnace of adversity, and Satan is a whipping stick. You have to fight him day and night until we get up into that kingdom. All right. So that's why it says pray without ceasing, because ultimately, hey, Yahushua, when he got challenged by Satan, he dealt with him, and then it says they left him for a season. All right. Satan's always gonna rear his ugly head, and he's looking for a moment to compromise you. All right. And you see it because little things, be not ignorant of any matter, small or great. Because the little things you think are minute, they can wind up being big. Right? If there's a woman you shouldn't be messing with, she's a demon, and you leave her opening, you don't know what you're allowing to enter into your life. All right, you're just being fucking weak. All right, this is the reality of it all. You need to be staunch. All right, to the point where people might think, oh, you're fucking. He's an asshole. I don't like him. All right, so I'm kind of thinking about different little things. But this is why you need to get charge up, fill up your spirit, be on point, man, and fuck all that weak shit. All right, be strong, fervent in the spirit. pray without ceasing. All right. Anything you lack, ask for it, and the Heavenly Father will give it unto you. All right. Because guess what? Yahushua has knocked at the door and you answered. So you're supping with him. In supping with him, he's gonna do what? He's gonna give whatever you desire within reason of the truth being spiritual. Let's build upon that with this example from Yahushua. So this is the book of Luke 18:1. And he spake a parable unto them to this end, that men ought always to pray and not to faint, saying, there was in a city a judge who feared not the Most High, neither regarded man. All right. So this judge, all right, he was a man that just basically he was the star of the show. Whatever he was doing, it was based upon what he intended to do, his intentions, all right, what served him to his benefit. Verse 3. And we're even going to see that, funnily enough. And there was a widow in that city, and she came unto him, saying, avenge me of mine adversary. Okay. And he would not for a while, but afterward he said within himself, though I fear not the Most High, nor regard man, yet because this widow troubleth me, I will avenge her, lest her continual coming she weary me. See, so he was about self-serving. Everything was self-serving for him. The only reason why he answered this woman is because she nagged him to the point of, action. All right. So you need to, in that being the case, it really shows you, okay, that this woman, all right, her persistence, even though it was with someone that wasn't really for her persistence answered her question. And this is something I've said. It's funny because something I learned dealing with different situations in the world, you gotta be a terror to people. You gotta nag them, and you gotta don't be emotional. Don't say fuck you, effing, to start effing and blinding. All you gotta do is you gotta come hit them with the persistence, persistent facts, all right, and it's kind of overwhelming, all right, and they'll pick up on it that this person ain't going away, and your call will be answered through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem El Shai Ba'Shem Arukah Kudash. It's even something I told on to my sister in a situation she had. All right. And then she couldn't believe it. Oh my God, I've never done that before. Yeah, he answered me. And what she took from it, because the guy said to her, he said, yeah, he said, I've never had someone bother me so much. I just said, let me give you the money so you just leave me alone. And I said, that's the spirit because he told you what I told you. So that lets you know I won't, and I told her she knows what I'm on. So yeah, it's one of those anyway. Verse 6, and the Lord said, hear what the unjust judge saith, and shall not the Most High avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him? All right, for you to be part of the elect, what you got to be doing? All right, faith is about works, all right? And your faith is basically established by your works. This is one of the works. It's written, all right? Crying unto the Heavenly Father day and night is something that the elect done, all right? And mind you, all right, even if you ain't getting down on your knees or throwing up prayers at every moment, yes, it tells you in the book of Romans that your spirit, this is why we sigh and cry for the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. It's because our spirit within us is sighing and crying, even if we can't find the words to utter it day to day, all right, or day and night, all right, because these things, the spirit of when it speaks of Esau as a spirit, it says the spirit that is in him is not upright in him, all right, and he has control over this earth. If you aren't like Lot, vexed with a filthy conversation of the wicked, you ain't right, man. There's something wrong with you, all right. It don't mean that you can't try and find your little escape, your little peace. How shy you to escape, get away. All right, you gotta do that for the sanctity of your mind. But all right, this place is meant to be irksome to you. It's meant to rub you the wrong way. All right. Verse 8, I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth. And is he? He's going to, but it's going to be with a small number, his elect. All right, so let's close out on this. Um, it's the book of Second Ezra 15, and I'm reading from verse 5 to 9. So it says, "Behold, saith the Lord, I'll bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. And therefore saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them." All right, and that's the way it is, man. Esau is a bloody man, and blood pollutes the land, and the only way you can cleanse the land, all right, our heavenly Father being a clean power, a righteous power, is by the shedding of the blood of him that shed the blood therein. All right, so this man E is he's gonna have to, fulfill that blood debt and pay what you owe, as uh Riley Freeman said. All right. Oh man, I'm just being playful, but yeah, that's the lesson. I pray you're edified to the next one. Shalom.